thinking about the doctrine of total inability and also a responsibility to believe. How do you help them think through that?
Well, I want to say several things about that. First of all, our duty is not dependent on our ability. And in fact, the notion that our duty is dependent upon our ability, our moral ability, is actually a notion that was at the heart of the ancient heresy of Pelagianism, because their doctrine was that if God commanded us to do something, if I ought, I can, they taught. And therefore, if God commanded people to do something, it was clear that they had the ability to do that something. Otherwise, this would be unjust on the part of God. Now,
Yeah.
that's the first thing. People are required, for instance, to keep the Ten Commandments, whether they have the moral ability to do so or not. And this is clear throughout the scriptures. And of course, you have the common illustrations of this when we talk about total inability I know one great treatment of the subject says if you put a head of lettuce and a steak in front of a lion, what is he going to choose? He's going to
Yeah.
choose the steak every time. Therefore, there's a sense in which he doesn't have the ability to choose the head of lettuce because his heart is dominated by his desire for the steak. In the same way, you have the idea that if a person goes out and gets himself drunk and gets in his car and drives, does he have the ability to drive safely? No. Does that mean he's not responsible to drive safely? Absolutely not. So
Yeah.
again, these are illustrations, but I don't want to talk just about the whole issue of moral inability per se, because there is a element of truth that was recognized by both Jonathan Edwards and by Andrew Fuller, and I think is at least directly implicit in our confession of faith. That is that there should be and there must be a distinction made between physical and moral ability. God does not command people to do things that they're physically, constitutionally incapable of doing. All right?
Yeah.
It's clear. I mean, he doesn't tell people to leap over 50-foot walls. He doesn't command things like that. But both Edwards and Fuller recognized that we have to make a distinction between physical ability and moral ability. And when we talk about total ability, we're not talking about a physical inability. We're not
Yeah.
talking about the idea that people are incompetent, physically unable to do what God commands. And this is true even in the sense of a spiritual sense. God doesn't command people to believe in Christ when they have no innate capacity to trust. He doesn't command people to love that have no innate capacity to love. And he doesn't command people to feel sorrow for sin who have no innate capacity to feel sorrow. People
Yeah.
have all those innate capacities in their souls, and total inability, moral inability, does not have to do whether they have those capacities or the physical capacity to leap over a 50-foot wall. Their capacity is genuine and real. It's simply that they don't have the moral disposition to use any of those capacities in the way that they need to use them. They don't have
Sure.
the moral disposition. They're completely lacking the moral disposition to love what they should love, be sorry for what they should be sorry for, and to trust and believe in what they should believe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good.